independence could only be achieved. Um, so, in terms of the conflict between Hindus and Muslims, Gandhi felt that um, it would be useless to go to the Round Table Conference and continue his fight for independence unless an accord was reached between the two. And he tried really hard throughout his life to settle the conflict, and he would meet with the leaders, and that's a picture of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who would become the first Prime Minister of Pakistan. And although he tried really hard to settle the conflict, it ultimately just wasn't to be. And there was lots of bloodshed over this, and it kind of went completely against Gandhi's beliefs of nonviolence. And actually, he felt that the main cause of this fight was not between the masses, but rather the Indian leaders, and that's why he tried so hard to settle the conflict, because by the leaders fighting amongst themselves, they were really just playing into the hands of the British and making independence harder for the Indians to achieve. So even though he tried hard to settle the conflict, it just wasn't to be. So now we're at the Round Table Conference, and this is what the book is really leading up to. And it takes place in London in the fall of 1931. And this is where the Indian people and Gandhi felt that this was where they were really going to win their independence. And Shara calls the speech that Gandhi gives at this conference one of the greatest of Gandhi's political career. And um, it includes Gandhi suggesting what British the British people and Indian people could accomplish if they worked together, and Gandhi tried hard to gain the support of the British mill workers because um, the Indian boycott of British goods really left the British economy in shambles, and the mill workers were hit the hardest. And he tried to appeal to them to gain their support of Indian independence, because then they could both achieve what they wanted together. And but ultimately, Britain was determined to keep its hold on India, and they just refused to let anything give. And um, the day the conference adjourned, Gandhi would later call it his most humiliating day. So basically, this conference, although there was much hype surrounding it and lots of hope going into it, it ultimately failed to achieve really anything for India. And immediately upon returning to India, Gandhi was jailed by the British police without trial, and he would fall out of politics until the start of World War II. And uh, and during that time, he would kind of start championing for the rights of the untouchables, and kind of trying to really modify the caste system so that it would be not promote inequality, but rather just order. And so, yeah. So after the Roundtable Conference, Shirer goes back to London after spending that year with Gandhi and kind of becoming close to him and the people surrounding him. And he goes on to fill in the remaining years up until Gandhi's death, which was in 1948. And independence came for India on August 15th, 1947, but Gandhi could never really truly celebrate it because the almost immediately the Hindus and Muslims began going at each other's throats, and it's kind of ironic and sad that Gandhi, who had been preaching nonviolence for most of his political career, nonviolence and love and truth, had to watch the newly independent India kind of be torn apart, and there was lots of bloodshed and turmoil, and soon after, the Muslims would go on to form their own independent nation, which is Pakistan. And during this time, Gandhi endangered his life by going through one final fast, and he also went to where the violence was most to try to stop the violence. And on January 30th, 1948, as Gandhi was beginning his eve- evening prayer meetings, which he did every day, and it was open to the public, he was shot 3 times and killed by Nathuram Godse, who was a Hindu fanatic who believed that Gandhi had betrayed the Hindu religion. And from there on, Shira goes on to talk about some of Gandhi's contradictions a little bit more. He kind of wraps things up and kind of just really professes his great admiration for Gandhi. So, if there was a thesis to this book, I guess you could say that um, it was that the author had a great admiration for Gandhi because it's a memoir, so there really isn't any argument to be made. But so, Gandhi, a memoir by William L. Shirer. I really like this book. The fact that it was a memoir kind of made me feel that I was like right there watching the events unfold, and it was a great read. It wasn't too long. It was only about 250 pages. Lots of great quotes and good stuff in there. So check it out.